What's up, family? Yo, this video here, definitely I'm gonna touch one on this one. Not touch a nerve, but touch some stuff that you could definitely identify with. So I'm gonna title this one here, I think 5 words, let's see if I'm right. Neighbors sometimes inspire us. Look at that, that's 4 words. Now I'm like the soldier from Shrek. Remember, he was like, pick number 2, not my lord, pick number 2. He couldn't count. But anyway, let's get to the point. 4 words. Neighbors sometimes inspire us. You ever think about it? I'm talking to you. Yes, you in every neighborhood around the world. Think about it. As you see, I'm on my lawnmower, but have you ever thought about how sometimes you may cut your grass, and when you cut your grass, you always notice about 10 minutes later, your neighbor comes out and they cut their grass. You ever notice that? And you go, see, now some people may say, man, they copying what we doing. Man, they imitating what we doing. Man, they jealous of what we doing. They do it. Nah, let's not look at it as a negative thing. Let's look at it as a positive thing. Maybe you are inspiring them. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe one day they cutting their grass, and you might had already thought about it, because this happens. A lot of times you was already planning to cut your grass, and just you let something sidetrack you. Like you go, oh, let me watch this little bit of the game, or I'm watching the news. Oh, so my daughter, my son had me do something. My wife, my husband had me do something, whatever, right? And now you didn't do it when you said you're gonna do it, but then all of a sudden you hear the lawnmower going of your neighbor across the street next door. You hear the lawnmower going, then you go, oh man, I was just about to do my grass. Now let me run outside and do my grass. And now that neighbor look at it like, man, he cutting his grass because he seen me cut my grass, right? We all been through that before. So let's not look at it as a negative thing. As I said, some people would say it's a jealousy thing, it's a copycat thing, it's a keeping up with the Joneses thing. No. Let's look at it as an inspiring thing. And as always, I love to give you a word of the day. So let's go with the word of the day in the video. Inspiring. What does inspiring mean? A number of other things. Innovative, creative, motivating, inspiring. So sometimes we do inspire our neighbors. Title of the video, neighbors sometimes inspire us. Like I said, we all been through that. How about your neighbor might have been outside washing his car, right? Washing his car on a nice, beautiful day, right? And as he's washing his car, you might have heard him playing his music. At the same time he's washing the car, you know how he had the doors open in the car, he's washing the car, you smell the fumes, the fragrances that smell so good, and you just happen to take the garbage out or open your door, and then you see he's washing his car. Reminds you, I gotta wash my car. And before you know it, you out there trying to play it off. And a lot of times when neighbors try to play it off, they say these simple words to the other neighbor. They go, hey John, when you finish washing your car, why don't you wash mine? We heard this before. When you finish cutting your grass, why don't you cut mine? Silly stuff like that. But we all have been through that before. That's why I say inspiring, motivate, innovative, creative. Sometimes, yes. Neighbors sometimes inspire us. Sometimes they remind us, what I had to do. Man, I had to do this, but I kept putting it off. But now my neighbor's doing it, and guess what? Just reminds me, I need to do mine. We all been through that before. But all I would inspire others to be, don't look at it as a jealousy thing. Don't look at it as a copycat thing, an envious thing. Look at it as an inspiring thing. They inspire you, you inspire them. How about landscaping? Sometimes we may put up beautiful lights, nice rocks in front of the house, or we may decorate our house in a way that it makes the neighbors, when they're taking a walk or whatever, when they drive by, they go, I like the way they got them flowers up like that. I like the way they put the landscaping in front of their house. It looks really beautiful. You know what? We need to do ours. How about you, babe?
You know what? It's funny that you have this conversation, because honestly, I'm guilty as that. Back in New Jersey, I really didn't have much to do, but I felt like painting. I was always painting the inside of the house. But when I went outside, I see the siding, it needed some refresh painting.
I remember this day. I was at work, I remember I came home. You and our youngest
daughter.
My
youngest daughter, our youngest daughter, Jada, I said, come on.
She almost slipped up. She said her daughter, right? Y'all did catch that, right? See, they're not both our kids. See, they hug kids when they're doing stuff good. Whenever they screwing up, they my kids.
Bobby.
But y'all know that too. Y'all know how a lot of parents, whenever the kids are messing up, they daddy kids. But when they're doing good, they their kids. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I said, Jada, would you like to paint? He said, well, yeah, sure. I like to paint. I said, well, let's paint the side of the house, the siding.
You talking about, see now, a lot of y'all know what she's talking about. That you got the siding of the house, but underneath the siding, you got the brick foundation. And
Right,
you painted
and
that
that
all
was
a high gloss white, right?
Yes,
Am I
yes,
right?
because
Yeah.
it was off
And it
color.
looked beautiful. I remember when I came home.
Yeah. Well, I came out with the paint, and there was a neighbor.
Down the street from us.
Yeah, it was a lady that was just staring and staring.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of laughed, but I didn't think much of it. She left with her little girl.
Uh-huh.
And she came back within a half hour. She came back with a bucket of paint and a brush. And I laughed.
And
I
she started painting her foundation.
yeah,
like you see?
exactly. So I told my daughter Jada. I said, our daughter Jada.
Our daughter. Y'all catching her, right? Y'all catching her.
I keep living. And I said, yo, Jay, look at the lady. She's trying to copy what we're doing. But that's what I'm saying. I was guilty. Yeah.
This was a good neighbor.
But it wasn't something that I was looking at her in a funny way. I just laughed and said, look at her. She's trying to copy what we're doing.
See, now it came out in a negative connotation if you say it that way, amongst us. But now it's amongst the world. But we know you don't do the gossip and stuff. Neither one. We don't do that nonsense. But it actually was, you inspired her. See, as I said, word of the day, inspired, innovative, creative, motivated. But we can also go with a statement we heard so many times before. Remember this statement here? Imitation is the highest form of
flattery.
There you go. So what you did that day, she seen you doing what she probably had planned to do before, but she kept putting it off. But then when she seen you doing it and your daughter, and she see how nice it was coming out, this is a mother-daughter project. Look how nice. It reminded her and her daughter. Next thing you know, sure enough, she started doing it. And their project looked nice as well, right?
Yes.
Remember, we went down there and we told them, hey, that looks beautiful.
Exactly.
So that's what's great about having good people around you, positive people around you. Sometimes they could change your mindset, because at the time, like you said, man, she copied, but you didn't mean it in a malicious way, in a joking way. But then when I came home, we talked about it, we laughed about it. I said, no, babe, you motivated her. And then you was like, you know, babe, you're right. That's a good way to look at it. That's a positive way to look at it. But we all guilty of the grass. We all, because like I said, you could be in the house, chilling, watching TV, sitting in the bed, and when you hear, you be like, I gotta get up and cut my grass. Let me go get my lawnmower. But you wasn't thinking about it at the moment until you heard your neighbor. And this happens with every type of things like that. Like I said, landscaping, washing your vehicle, cutting your grass, you know, whatever type of project you're doing to your house. Because there's always something to do around the house. It never stops. There's always something to do around the house.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're doing them things, just remember, eliminate the negative thoughts and try to incorporate the positive ones. So the negative thoughts would be the jealousy, envy, copycat, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Those are negative ones. Let's eliminate. Like I said, get rid of all the negative thoughts and stay with positive ones. Because I'll give you some more negative ones. You know, a lot of times people fall victim to whereas my neighbor got a new car, means I gotta go get out a new car. My neighbor got a motorcycle, I gotta go get a motorcycle. Oh, my neighbor's doing this to his stuff. Listen, if you get caught up in that nonsense, because remember, we're gonna do a positive video, but if you get caught up in that nonsense of every time they get something, you gotta get something, then you're gonna be one of them people, unfortunately, you're gonna have to work to the day you die, because you're gonna have a lot of regret later. Why did I go get this? Man, I only went and got this because they got it. Nah, don't be like that. So let's stay on the positive side here. The positive side is, remember, imitation is the highest form of flattery. And sometimes, yes, like the title of the video, neighbors sometimes inspire us. Sometimes they inspire us, and sometimes we inspire them. Be an inspiration. Like my old video, it's called just that. Be an inspiration. Because we're all guilty of it. We're guilty of it, and they're guilty of it, meaning our neighbors. Sometimes they remind us stuff we gotta do. Sometimes we remind them stuff they gotta do by simply doing what needs to be done. But sometimes it's just hilarious when we see it. Cause like I said, you're laying in the bed, you hear that lawnmower, you're like, you know, I gotta go do mine. Peace.